Good morning, everybody. I made it to Vancouver Island. did my presentation. All worked out good. So I'm just here for another day or so, and thought I'd do a little bit of photography. Now I'm kind of having trouble figuring out which area I want to visit the most. Right now we're having an inversion, so the air above is much warmer than the air below, and of course that creates lots of fog because we have so much moisture in the air. So it's pretty cool right now. Now I was just up the road from where my parents live, an area called Cathedral Grove, which is an old growth forest kind of on the side of the road, just a small pocket of Douglas fir. And I was hoping the fog could be in the trees there, but there was fog up in the canopy, but down low the light, it wasn't terribly exciting. So I've come down the road a little bit to an area called Little Qualicum Falls. Now I've been here many times. There's quite a bit of fog here, and there's a number of stepped waterfalls, one being quite large going into a big cleft, and then another one that's, well, quite wild actually, because there's so much water in the river right now. So I'm going to see if I can get some photographs here. I'll be honest with you, in the past I haven't had an awful lot of luck, not because the area is not nice, it's hard to find compositions here. I have a hard time finding compositions here anyway, but I'm hoping with the fog it'll give trees and such a little bit of separation from one another, and it'll reduce the kind of chaos that you get with forests and streams and so on. So I'm at the lower falls right now, or the lower bridge, and I'm going to hike up the valley a little bit and see what I can find. Okay, so I'm at one of the upper falls here, and you can see right now there's quite a bit of water coming down the falls, down the river here. But the fog and the mist created by the falls, just wonderful right now. It's created this really great mood, really softened up the light. Now I've taken quite a few shots from here before, but generally they come out a little bit too busy looking. But with the fog, really kind of softens the scene quite a bit and gets rid of those details that you don't necessarily need. So I'm going to take a few shots looking down at the falls here, and then the trail kind of continues around the edge here, and I'm going to take some shots of me looking down on the falls with a self-timer, just to give it a little bit of scale. The river actually comes from over here, and then it swoops all the way around, kind of like an S-curve. And the canyon is about 100 feet deep. You definitely wouldn't want to fall down there, that's for sure. Okay, I was just walking along the river here, and I've come across these wonderful mossy trees here. The big leaf maples. The big leaf maples tend to get more moss on them for whatever reason. I'm not really sure why. So all the branches are kind of twisted, and they're all kind of overhanging over the river here. Now I am having a little bit of a hard time finding composition, but I really want to get a shot of these because they just look fantastic. Now down here there are some mossy roots, so maybe there's some way that I can get those roots in the foreground with the mossy tree in the background. There's several of them up the river here. I've never come on this side of the river, so it's a great find. It's just trying to find that composition, you know. I love the ferns that grow on these as well. I think they're called licorice ferns, and they tend to grow better when it's wet. In the summer they kind of dry up and go dormant, and then in the winter they start growing again. So you get all these green ferns running up the trees. Looks really cool. I tried to find a composition with my wide angle lens. I wanted to get the roots in the foreground and then have the twisted branches up just behind the foreground, but it didn't quite work because the branches are quite high, and there was just this big hole with the river in there, so I couldn't really fill it in with anything. Anyway, we'll crack on, and maybe I can get some shots of the other trees down the trail here as well. All right. Here's another really nice tree that has a beautiful shape to it with lots of moss on it right by the river here. I really do like the shape of this. Now what I've had to do is try to elevate myself as much as I can, and there's a bit of an embankment here, so I've kind of propped myself on top so that I'm shooting kind of across and down on it rather than looking up, because when I go below it I get a lot of white patches from the sky, which are a bit distracting. So I'll try to eliminate as much of the sky as I can. Yeah, this is really beautiful. I wish there was a little bit of light again. But the composition I really like. I might have to, again, dodge and burn to try and bring out some of the highlights and darken some of the shadows. Anyway, looks pretty good. This is kind of a neat view looking down the canyon. You've got the river kind of winding its way. So what I've tried to do is choose an angle so that the stream or the river doesn't actually get cut off by a cliff, so you can see it snaking all the way down. It's kind of neat with the fog and the mist in here as well. It's a little bit flat. It would be nice if I could get something in the foreground to kind of give it a little bit of depth. The only thing I can get is a tree down the edge here, but it's not terribly exciting. I've also put on a circular polarizer just to cut down on the glare on the water, kind of try and saturate those colors a little bit better. I've photographed this scene a number of times, but this is about the best I've seen it with the fog. It really adds a lot of mood to it. I'm sure I could do something with this. So I'm going to play around with this. I'm going to take some overall like the full view shots with all the fog and everything, and then I might zoom in on the river a little bit more just to kind of isolate a pattern in there. That's me done at little Qualicum Falls here. It's always a nice place to come and hang out for a couple of hours and try and get some shots here. The conditions are, well, the light is flat, but I kind of like the fog, so anyway, I think that's me done for today. I'm just gonna have a cup of tea and then I've got to start heading back home. But as always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up, and if you don't want to miss any videos in the future, be sure to subscribe. Alright, thanks ever so much again for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Alright, bye.